Hello, this is special triangle review, also dealing with degrees and radians. To start off, we have the 45, 45, 90 triangle. Across from your 45s, you'll have a number, and because it's an isosceles, they'll be the same. Whatever that value is, you multiply that times radical 2. For a 30, 60, 90 triangle, across from 30 is always going to be x, or a given number. You're going to double x for the hypotenuse. And then across from the 60-degree angle, it will be whatever x is times radical 3. So we're going to use this to go ahead and form our special triangle chart. So to start off, I'm just going to work with a number. Now, if you're able to choose a number for like a check, it's always good to use a small number. So I'm going to use 1. So if this side is 1, and this is a 45 degree, 45, 45, 90 isosceles triangle, this side has to be 1 as well. And then this side would just be 1 times radical 2, which is 1 radical 2. For this one, for the 30, 60, 90, across from 30 is 1. We then double for the hypotenuse, so 1 times 2 is 2. And then we have times 1 times radical 3. So this is 1 radical 3, or just radical 3. Now we're going to use these triangles to form our chart. So the sine of 30, all right, if I take a look at the 30-degree angle from here, we have sine of 30. So sine is opposite over hypotenuse. So 1 over 2. And we're going to continue with just the 30s for all of them. So the cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. That would be radical 3 over 2. We then have tangent, which is opposite over adjacent. So you have 1 over radical 3. Now we need to rationalize that. So you multiply by radical 3 on the top and the bottom to get radical 3 over 3. Okay, moving on to, we're going to do the 60s because that's just the same triangle. So the sine of 60. Sine, once again, is opposite over hypotenuse, so it's radical 3 over 2. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, so 1 over 2, 1/2. And tangent is opposite over adjacent, so it's just going to be radical 3 over 1, which is just radical 3. We are then going to do this the 45, 45, 90 triangle. So for sine of 45, sine is opposite over hypotenuse, so it's 1 over radical 2. When you rationalize, you'll get radical 2 over 2. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. So that's 1 over radical 2. As we just found out, when rationalize, you get radical 2 over 2. And tangent is opposite over adjacent. So that's 1 over 1, which simplifies to 1. So we're going to use those to go ahead and solve a few problems in a minute. The next thing we have are trig values of quadrantal angles. All right, so we're talking about our unit circle here. Now for our unit circle, we know this point is the point 1, 0. Opposite of that is the point negative 1, 0. Up top is the point 0, 1. And this point would be the point 0, comma, negative 1. Now, these aren't known as x and y, but they are also known as cosine sine. Cosine, sine, cosine, sine, cosine, sine, cosine, sine. Now, this right here is a 0-degree angle. There would be 90 degrees. So, at 90 degrees, cosine is 0, sine is 1. This one would be 180 degrees. So at 180 degrees, cosine is negative 1, and sine is 0. For this one, this would be 270 degrees. So at 270 degrees, cosine is 0, sine is -1. And then if we go back to 360, cosine is 1 at 0 and at 360, and sine is 0. We can also do this with negative degrees. So negative would be clockwise. So this would be -90 degrees. And at -90 degrees, cosine is 0, sine is -1. At -180 degrees, cosine is -1, sine is 0. And at 90 degrees, also known as -270 degrees, cosine is 0, sine is 1. And if we go -360, going full circle, cosine is 1, sine is 0. So taking a look at this, these are some examples for it. So the sine of 90 at 90 degrees, sine is equal to 1. Cosine of 270, so 270 would be all the way around to here. Cosine is 0 at 270 degrees. And tangent of 180. Now tangent is one of those parts where we need a little bit of work. Now if we refer to our sheet, tangent, all right, is sine over cosine. So we know sine over cosine at 180 degrees. So 180 degrees is here. We have sine, which is 0, cosine, which is -1, and that just simplifies to 0. Thank you.